It is the weekend, and typically a lot of us are catching up on yard work today. A properly maintained lawn, of course, it can increase your home's value, reduce your energy costs, and even help you burn calories. Just a good way to work out and good all around. Horticulturalist Patrick Dickinson and water expert Denise Hickey are here with some great ideas on how you can maintain a healthy lawn, especially in this Texas heat. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Sure. Our pleasure.
Absolutely, and I love that we've got some fun lawn ornaments. And tell me a little bit about what is the most important thing to keep in mind when you're trying to maintain a nice, healthy lawn like the one we see right here.
Well, and you said it. One thing that most people want is the home value. It can increase your property value in the upwards of 10 to 15%.
Wow.
But the flip side of that is we want people to do things efficiently. Less chemicals, less waters. And one of the things that we can do to show people is testing their soil. There's different things you can test your soil very inexpensively for $10 to find out what fertilizer you actually need. This will save everybody time and money, and it also will avoid being over-marketed to buy that real expensive fertilizer.
So how can people go about doing that?
Well, there's different maintenance techniques or cultural things that we want people to do that in a lot of ways we've done wrong over the decades. One of the things we want people to do is raise their mower height. We have recommended mowing heights. The taller the grass, it shades the soil and holds moisture and your nutrients.
Oh, interesting. So about how tall do you want your grass?
Well, it depends on the variety. If it's something like St. Augustine, it can be in the upwards of 3 inches. And then never scalping your lawn. That encourages water loss and nutrient loss and weeds. Mow on a more regular basis and don't bag your grass clippings.
So how often should people be mowing?
Weekly.
Weekly?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And if they avoid bagging those grass clippings, it's like watering and fertilizing your lawn when you're mulching them back onto your lawn every single time.
Interesting. And I see we've got a sponge here. Can you talk a little bit about what this represents?
Yeah, this is to simulate our soil that's underneath our grass. And what you should do is water deeply and infrequently. So if you think about the soil that's underneath the grass as this sponge, if the sponge is dry and the water hits it, then it'll just roll right off.
Sure.
So if you water your yard slowly and fill the sponge, if you will, full of water, then the roots will grow and gravitate down and have deeper root system and will be more heat tolerant and drought tolerant.
So how often and for how long should people be watering their lawn?
Well, we have several things that you can do. You can subscribe to watermyyard.org, which is a weather-based irrigation tool, and you'll receive a text or an email that'll let you know when to water or when to wait to turn your irrigation system on. You can also use a weather-based controller that we have down here. It will only operate if you need to water your yard. The other thing is to be sure not water before 10 a.m. or after 6 p.m. because the water that you're applying to your yard, if you water during the hot part of the day, it's just going to evaporate.
Right, and then it doesn't even, it's not efficient.
It's not efficient, and it doesn't get to the roots where we're really wanting the water to be.
Sure. Is there a general rule of thumb when it comes to watering if you don't have the weather monitor or you don't have those kinds of things?
Well, what you can do is use a soil moisture, or a screwdriver will even work. If you can put the soil moisture down, this will read if you need to water or not. If you can easily insert a screwdriver, then your soil is moist.
Okay.
If it's a little bit harder to stick down in the soil, then you need to add a little bit of moisture.
And here in Texas, when you never know what the weather's going to be like in the spring and summer, that can be tough to keep up with watering. So definitely good advice. And it's quite a workout too, right, Patrick?
Yes, yes. And that's one of the great things about it. I mean, outdoor yard work can burn in the upwards of 300 calories per hour.
Wow.
We just want people to do things safely, make sure you're covering yourself from the sun, sunscreen, things of that nature. Enjoy the shade of your trees. We benefit from the shade of our trees during the summer when it's so hot, but the reality of it is a lot of our grasses don't like the shade, and if we don't receive at least 5 hours of sunlight, turf grass really shouldn't be an option. We want them, don't over prune or remove a tree to grow grass. You just have to think outside the turf box.
Sure. So we want to test our soil, make sure that we know exactly what kind it is, how often to water it, and make sure you're not watering it for too long, but you also want to water it very slowly as well. So thank you guys both so much for being here. I hope my fiance Alberto Romero is watching. Once a week, babe. We'll be right back.